Okay, today is Friday, August the 24th. We're going to start with standard 6.4 that we actually worked on Friday in class, but we're going to answer the questions today together. So all of you that were absent on Friday or you're in internet land today listening to that, you know where we're starting. All right, you ready, guys? You can talk. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, number one. There was a major climatic change that occurred during the Stone Age. Bradley, do you know what it was?
Ice Age.
It was the Ice Age. Who got that one? Raise your hand. Turn your hand around. Pat yourself on the back. It was the Ice Age. Good job. Now, what did this Ice Age, this change, cause people to have to do?
They had to move somewhere else.
They had to move. Right? So this is when we call people that move all the time, what do we call them? Nomads. So they're moving around. All right. Tell me 3 reasons why they had to do this. RJ, tell me one.
I got 2.
Tell me one.
It was too cold.
Okay, it was too cold where they were living. All right. J2, tell me now.
For food.
Yeah, their food was leaving, so they had to follow their food. Okay? They had to follow their food. What's another one, Samantha?
They couldn't find nuts or berries.
Okay.
They were under snow.
All right, so there's 1, there's 2, 3. There were no nuts and berries to get. They were gone. So they were living solely on what they could catch, right? Okay, so there's 3. Does anybody know any more, though? Olivia?
It was difficult to stay alive.
It was very difficult to stay alive. Any others? Hunter?
The water they needed was frozen.
Okay, their water's freezing, so they have to eat ice or snow, right? What else, Bradley?
To find new land.
To find new land. Okay, in moving, they're going to find new land. That's a good one. Okay, so the main reason they had to leave, though, was because of the what? The food. Their food was leaving, and they knew what was their main goal at this point every day.
Stay alive.
Yes, when I woke up in the morning, they went, okay, good morning to me, stay alive, don't get killed today. Don't get killed by a saber-toothed tiger, don't get killed by a woolly mammoth, and don't starve to death. That's my goal today. Okay, so in order to survive, they had to make some human modifications, things they changed for themselves. What's one of them, Weston?
Clothes.
Clothing. They had to change their clothing. All right, what's another one,
They
Anna?
needed to make new shelter.
Okay, they needed to make a new shelter that would keep them warmer. Bradley, what's another one?
Better tools.
Better tools. Okay, I asked you to list 3, but does anybody know more? What's another one, JK?
Like they needed to be near water.
Okay, they needed a water source, didn't they? They had snow and ice. But I'm sure that it would have been much more convenient, much nicer if their water wasn't frozen, right? What's another one, Samantha?
They had to change their eating patterns.
They had to change their eating patterns or their eating habits. They might even had to change the number of meals they ate a day, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
They
Cindy?
had to learn how to make like bigger, better fires.
Okay, they had to learn to keep warm. Definitely had to learn to keep warm. Because if you don't keep warm in a climate like that,
What's the coldest you can get? Before
I don't know and I don't want to find out. Do you? Okay. Yes, Skylar.
houses.
Yes, we've got shelter right here, so that's houses. Yes, it is. All right. Once the Ice Age had completed or ended, let's complete this paragraph. Hello, I'm getting tongue-tied. Let's complete this paragraph. Once the Ice Age had ended, the people were no longer considered, JP, nomads, or people who had to constantly move. Now this one's tricky, but instead they were able to become farmers, settled. What do you say back there, Blake? Villagers, a community. You're all really close. This is the word I was looking for. Settled. Settle down. They could settle down somewhere. You ever had your parents say, would you settle down?
Yes.
Yeah, my mom used to say that to me. She probably still does every now and then. Okay, so they were able to become settled in one region because they now knew how to grow gardens, or what's another word? Crops, plants. Okay, so any one of those will work. Crops, plants, gardens. What else? Are you waiting for the next one? Sorry. They now knew how to grow crops and had domesticated animals. Oh, this is the big one. The shift from hunter-gatherers to farming is known as
The agricultural revolution.
the agricultural revolution. Good job. All right, the next thing you're going to do is I'm going to give you a piece of paper with all these questions on it, and you are going to glue it on the page that says Standard 6.5. If you weren't here today and you're listening, this is in the pink basket on the shelf in my room. All right, now that we have these glued in, the first question I think you're going to know. The question is, why did agriculture cause people to be able to settle in one region? They didn't have to move anymore. Samantha, why?
Because now they can grow their own food and they didn't have to walk like 2 miles to a village like people.
Okay, so now they can grow their own food.
You want to ask my question?
Uh-huh. All right. What else about farming, Hunter?
They can domesticate.
Okay, they domesticated their crops, right? So they can grow them where they want to.
They can use the excess to trade.
They can use the excess to trade. What else? They have land. They have land. What else, J2?
They could be near a river.
Okay, they have a water source. Hopefully, if they're smart, they've built near a water source, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So agriculture allowed them to have their own food and grow it, to have their own land, to be closer to a water source. So they didn't have to move around to go hunt for their food anymore. Now, obviously, do they still hunt?
Yeah.
Yes, we still hunt, don't we?
Yeah.
How many of you know a hunter? There you go. We do still hunt. But if we have a garden and we grow our own food, we don't necessarily have to, do we? Okay? So farming allowed people to settle down because they could grow their own food, they have their own land, they have a water source. Basically, they have everything they need. Okay, if you can grow your own land or grow your own crops because you're living on your own land near a water source, then why will your population grow?
Yeah, it's more cheap survival because you're not going to get attacked by an animal as often because you have to go walk way far off to get food. You're not going to starve as easily because you have more food
And obviously, do you know what's poisonous and not poisonous now?
yeah.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, we could say it's now safer. You don't have to worry about getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. Okay? All right? Now, when we're talking about early man, we're talking about back when the world first started. So, are things less polluted?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not hardly polluted at all. So some of you have been asking me, how could they drink out of streams and stuff? Well, the water wasn't polluted, you know, other
Not
than,
like now because
other than,
bacteria.
yeah, other than the fish poo that's in there, because, you know.
Because you don't know what people put in it now.
Exactly. So the ground, the soil, the water was much purer. It wasn't as polluted. I don't know that it would be polluted really at all. So it's safer to have your own farm because you don't have to go out and look for animals. The ground is purer and cleaner. if you have crops growing in your garden and you're eating beans and corn and squash, is that healthy?
Yes.
Yes, so now you're eating even healthier
Because they're vegetables.
because even though the land and the water is pure, do wild animals still carry parasites?
Yes.
When you eat one of those, if you don't know how to cook it right, can it make you very sick?
Yes.
Yes. So in some cases, they were ingesting parasites. Well, if you eat corn and squash and potatoes and what else? Green beans and peppers, it's less likely that you're going to ingest something like that, right? And they didn't have all the insecticides that we use to spray our plants with, so they were very clean. Yes, William? All right, so it's safer, it's healthier. All right, so if it's healthier, are you going to get us sick?
No.
Are you going to live longer?
Yes.
All right, so people are living longer. If you have children now, have you raised them in a safer environment?
Yes.
Is their lifespan going to be longer?
Yes.
Yeah, so you see how now your population's growing? There's all kinds of different reasons why your population's growing. Okay, the word emerge. That means to appear. So why did civilization start to appear when people started to farm? Weston?
Because it's healthier.
Okay, it's healthier. What else?
They could get trade food for clothing.
They could trade food for clothing.
They could settle down and they didn't have to be nomads and running around trying to catch food.
Okay, they can settle down. They don't have to be nomads anymore, running around trying to catch their food. Okay? If you live on a farm, isn't it easier if you have a lot of people helping you farm that farm than if you're trying to do it by yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it safer to live around a lot of people in a community than it is to live out all by yourself, somewhere out in the middle of nowhere doing all the work yourself? Yeah, so they found that civilizations are starting to appear when people start to farm because they're settled, for one thing, and they're living near each other. They're living near each other for a lot of reasons. Safety is one. To help each other's another.
What?
Safety is one reason. Natalie, you writing this? Helping each other on the farm is another. Trade might be another reason. That's all easier to do if you live in a community, right?
Yeah.
Than if you say, well, I'll be gone this week to go see Joe Bob that lives over the hills over there because we're going to trade sheep and cattle. It's a lot easier than just trading right there than it is to go, I'll be back in about 5 or 6 days. See you then, take care of the kids. Right? Okay, number 4, I want you to star, bubble, do whatever you need to do because this one is huge, huge, huge. If you were smart and you were establishing a civilization, then that you will always develop your civilization near what do you think? Water. Okay, a water source. Every single civilization that's listed back there on that back wall, Egypt, China, Mesopotamia, Greece, India, Rome, every single one of them, the first thing that we'll talk about is a river. Because they all had developed around the water source. Because which one can your body go without longer? Food or water?
Food.
You can go without food longer, right?
I think it's like 17 days you can go without food, but you can only survive 3 days without water.
Yeah, you cannot survive long without water at all. Okay, because your body will dehydrate really, really fast. Okay, so they always develop near water. The development of civilizations and surplus to food led to, what do you think? Trade. Anybody else got any other guesses?
Oh, transportation.
Development of civilizations and served places of food led to, Samantha's exactly right, it is trade. It is trade. Did they have money? No. So the thing that they used for their economy was, I have 500 pounds of grain and you have 200 sheep, and I really need some wool to make clothing, so you really need grain to make bread. Think we might trade? Maybe so. Do you know what they call that when you trade? A barter system. Good job. Oh, they're awesome. All right. Number 7 has a clue in it to answer number 6. So once they started to trade, then they had to develop something. Government. Kennedy, you were jumping right on that one, weren't you? Now, if you go back a couple of pages in your spiral, I gave you the definition of government. What did the governments do for the civilizations? Elodeth, you know?
There's gave them power and rules.
Okay, they set up rules, right? You remember the video we watched the other day where they talked about when they started farming close to each other, then they started getting mad and fighting? Well, what would they be fighting over? Land. Okay, so in order for them not to fight over land, if I say, well, I'm going to set up rules and you're going to fence off your land and I'm going to fence off my land, doesn't that kind of eliminate us getting into a fight now?
Yes.
Because I know where my land is and you know where yours is.
And if you go over to there, it's
Yeah, now it'll be a fight if I go over and one night you catch me moving your fence. That's not going to be a good thing, right? That could be ugly for me, probably. Yes, for me. All right, so the government set up rules and regulations for the civilizations. Now, number 9 helps you answer number 8. So what was the first type of government, J2?
monarchy.
A monarchy. Come on, Pen. A monarchy. And when you think of monarchy, you should immediately think of a
King or queen.
King and queen. So a king or a queen rule. I shouldn't say king and queen. I should say king or queen.
I put queen/queen.
That works. There's an or.
And whoever's
King
married
or
to
queen?
the queen or king, the king or queen.
Say that again.
And who's ever married to the king or queen, the queen or king.
I think the answer to that is yes, if I understood your question correctly. But that was a little confusing for me. But yeah, let's go with it.
If somebody's
Yeah, I gotcha. If I marry a king, then am I going to be the queen? Yes.
That's
If
what-
I'm a queen and I'm not married and someone marries me, will he be the king? Yes. But it's the family that monarchy comes from. It's that family that has the most control. So if the king's family is the royal family, then they have the most control. Even though I'm queen, the family has the most control. Okay, so now that we've had a very long, lengthy discussion in class about monarchy, we're on number 10. People also developed blank practices. 11 will help you with this. Religious. Okay? People also developed religious practices. So they worshipped many gods and goddesses. I never can remember how to spell this word. I keep thinking I'm spelling it wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, now, some people knew this last period. Actually, one person knew this last period. Let's see if anybody in here knows this. They worshipped God and goddesses. When you worship more than one god, it is called, does anybody know? RJ? No? Nobody knows it? Polytheism.
I would never guess that.
How many of you, that is a brand new word for you? Okay. Polytheism means the worship in more than one god. So the Greeks worshipped all those mythological gods and goddesses. They would be polytheistic. Okay? How many of you are Christian? You worship one God, okay? So you would be monotheistic. The worship of one God is monotheistic. The worship of many gods is polytheistic. Okay? And it's not just Christianity that worships one God. There's other religions too. And you can break down Christianity into Methodist, Baptist, Lutheran, Presbyterian, okay? Yeah. Okay? Alright, but if you worship more than one god and goddesses, and they did, because what were their gods and goddesses of?
The elements, fire, water, earth, and wind.
Yep, that's it. Alright, so they were polytheistic. Now, I told you what they built for those gods and goddesses. That's close. Okay, we're getting there.
Statues.
It's a ziggurat, okay, but a ziggurat, a temple, those can all be classified under this one word. Mason? That's a ziggurat. Any other guesses? RJ? I told you they were called holy shrines. There we go. They were building shrines. A ziggurat's a shrine. A temple's a shrine. They were building shrines for the entities. An entity is the god or goddess that they are worshiping. Okay, RJ. All right. People eventually organized into social classes. And what do you think those social classes were based on?
How much land they have?
How much land they had, William? Religion. Any other guesses? Mason? Their job. Wealth. Somebody got it. Jobs. It was based on their jobs. Okay, you got that? Now, you can either switch back to 6-4, or if you have room on 6-5 at the top or the side, you can draw your triangle there. But we're going to draw a triangle.
How big does it have?
Well, let me tell you how you're going to divide it, then that'll tell you. You're going to divide it into 3 equal sections, and you're going to be writing something in each section.
Oh, like a pyramid?
Yeah, that'd probably be fine. Okay, this is your social hierarchy. How many of you, that's a new word for you, hierarchy? Do you know what it means?
Like you're like a wolf pack, whoever's like the dominant, like whoever's in charge.
Yeah, it's the person that's on charge, the person that has the most power down to the person who has the least power. So your social hierarchy is your social classes. Now we just talked about social classes. And what did we say your social class was based on?
Job.
Your job. Alright, now we talked about a type of government they first started. So who would be on top? The king or queen. So we're going to put, in order to put king or queen, we're just going to put ruler. So that could be the king or the queen, right? So the ruler is the top dog, but there's someone else that is up there right with him, because this person has to keep the gods happy, William.
Priest.
The priests. So the rulers and the priests are on the tip top. Okay? The rulers and the priests are on the tip top. Are those two going to kind of work together?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if the ruler sees that they're having a famine in the land, which means, you know what a famine is?
Yeah.
What is it, Ellie?
When like something's wrong with the soil and like it can't grow properly.
Okay, when your soil either isn't fertilized well enough and it won't grow, or you're using the type of soil, you're in a land where the soil's not good to grow stuff in, or you have a shortage of rain and your crops aren't growing, then you don't grow enough food to have to survive. That's a famine. A famine is when you don't have enough food to eat to survive. Well, if the king sees that a famine is coming, what might he tell the priest to do? Yeah, go pray to the gods to see if they will send us rain, right? And how's one of the ways he's going to keep those gods happy?
He takes food up to the very top of the temple.
Yeah, he takes food to the very, very top of that temple, and he leaves it. Now, if the king were to walk up there and try to talk to the gods, do you think in their mind it would make the gods happy or mad?
Mad.
Mad, because who was supposed to be the only one up there? The priest. Okay, so our rulers and our priests are on the top. Who do you think's in the middle?
The farmers.
Farmers. Now, I told you not everybody had to be a farmer because they were growing so much food now. I told you there were other people like weavers and who else? Tailors and who else? Blacksmiths and the ones who make the bowls. Potters. Okay, so we're going to call all those people craftspeople or craftsmen. So your farmers and your craftsmen are in the middle. Okay? That only leaves us one more space, right?
Yeah.
Okay. At no point, at this point in early man, have you heard me mention the word slavery, have you?
No.
None. Okay, but let me give you an example. If Kennedy has 400 pounds of wheat left over, and I have 200 goats, okay, and Kennedy comes to me and says, I really need some wool to make clothing, and I say, well, I really need some wheat to make bread, let's swap. And she says, okay, I'll give you 200 pounds of wheat for 100 goats. And I say, okay, now how many goats did I tell you I have? 200. If I trade with her, how many goats will I have? 100. Let's say that Jenny had just come to me at the same time and said, I really need some goats to get wool and milk to feed my family and make clothing, and I have 20 cattle. I'll give you 10 cows for 100 goats. And I say, okay, I'm in some trouble here, right?
You don't have any goats.
Because I have no goats left if I trade with her and her. And then Samantha comes to me and says, I just need 10 goats if you'll give me 50 pounds of wheat. And I go, okay, do I have 50 goats to give her?
No.
No, I don't.
You need 50 pounds of wheat.
I mean, do I have 50 pounds of... No, she's going to trade me... What did I say?
50
pounds of wheat. Let's say that I owe her 10 goats, okay, whatever I said. I probably got that mixed up. But if I owe you 10 goats, do I have 10 goats to give her?
No. Because you
No.
already gave it to me.
Okay, so let's say that this is what happens. I give Samantha the 10 goats and I give Jenny the 100. Now I owe her how many?
90.
I was going to give her 100. I owe her 10, right? Because I can only give her 90. So this is what Kennedy can say to me. She's either going to short me the amount of wheat that she was going to give me, or she can say, well, because you owe me 10 more goats, you're going to work in my farm on the wheat for 6 months.
Or 2 months.
Okay? Because I don't have money to pay her, right? I can't say, here, I'm going to give you this to pay my debt. I don't have it. If I did, I would have given it to her, right? So do I owe her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to do one or two things. Either she's not going to give me as much wheat, or she's going to tell me I've got to work for her for a while. If she says that I'm going to work for her for a while, then I'm going to be an enslaved person. Okay? I'm going to be at her debt until I get her paid off. Either by some way getting 10 more goats to give her, or by working for her. So I'm an enslaved person, right? Because think about it. Don't you think some people traded stuff they did not have to trade?
Yes.
All right, now what did I tell you was established by the governments? Rules. And when we start moving into Mesopotamia, you're going to find out that those rules were really, really strict. Okay? And you know what? You're not going to like this, but those rules were based on what class you were in. So some people didn't get punished as severely.
So the ruler and the priest got
Probably didn't get punished
They probably
at all
made the
because guess what they made?
They probably
They probably made some of the rules. Okay, so when we moved in to Mesopotamia, you're going to hear me start talking about Hammurabi's code, and that was a code of laws, and you're going to hear some of them, and they were so strict. You better be glad you're living today.
And then
Okay.
I bet enslaved would be treated worse.
All right, now you need to flip in your spiral to 6.6, and I'm going to give you 3 small sheets. One of them is going to say, at the very bottom, it's going to say page 30. The other one's going to say page 31, and the other one's going to say page 32. You need to tape or glue those in order on your standard 6.6, okay? All right, so you're going to take those 3 pages on your standard 6.6, and then we will get to those tomorrow and fill them out then. Okay, that's Monday's lesson. See you, bye.